Hi folks. So, in this part of our lesson, we're going to be learning a little bit more about genre. And there's 3 things that you're going to be able to take away from this video. Number 1, you're going to be able to define genre. Number 2, you're going to be able to explain the difference between our 4 categories of genre. And lastly, you're going to be able to look at a story and a novel and decide what genre that story or novel belongs to using its characteristics. And so please pay attention in this video because I will also be giving a secret word within it that you're going to be using in the attached Google form that's connected to this video. So let's define genre. A genre is a book or story category defined by style, content, and form. Just like how there's genres in music, like rock, hip-hop, music, jazz, pop music, musical theater, there's also going to be genres in our reading materials as well. In literature, we have 4 different categories or genres. That is poetry, drama, fiction, and nonfiction. So as you can see, we've got plenty of books in our classroom, but sometimes you're going to be asked to explain, well, what is the genre of a book? Either when you're writing about books or when I ask you to look for a nonfiction book or look for a fiction book, maybe poetry, or even look for a drama book. So we're going to look at this pile and then see if we can put them into our categories of fiction, nonfiction, poetry, and drama. So I've now sorted my books into 4 categories, and let's take a look at what these categories are now. We now have our 4 piles sorted into our 4 genres. So we have our fiction pile, nonfiction, poetry, and drama. And next we'll be taking a look at why all of these books have been sorted into the pile that they belong to. You may be familiar with stories like Shel Silverstein's Where the Sidewalk Ends, or even the story of Brown Girl Dreaming. It's told as poetry, even though it's still a story. The genre of poetry is written in lines or stanzas rather than paragraphs. Some poetry also includes stories using rhyme or meter. And meter here explains that sing-songy quality that sometimes goes with poetry. Our second genre is drama. And this is any work written to be performed rather than read alone. For the genre of drama, you may be presented a script where you're told the scene, the different characters, and what those characters are going to be saying. Our next genre is fiction, and this is any work written in prose that is not real. And prose just means paragraphs, so it's written in paragraphs and the story is not real. Some examples of fiction is Harry Potter, Diary of a Wimpy Kid, or even short stories in Aesop's Fables. And our 4th genre is nonfiction. In nonfiction, it is any work written in prose that is real. Remember, prose will just mean in paragraph style, so any article, any story that's written in paragraphs that truly did happen in real life. An example of nonfiction writing can be science articles, where we see the writing written as prose or full paragraphs. Looking at my 4 piles now, I can see all these different genres. And the first genre that I want to take a closer look at is going to be fiction. And with all of my fiction book, the commonality all of these books will have is that each of them are written in prose or paragraphs, and they're all going to cover topics that didn't actually happen in real life. My second one is actually going to be nonfiction. And so with nonfiction, you could have topics from grossology, where you're doing home experiments. You could cover true life historical topics like the Underground Railroad. And you could also have things called autobiographies, or books that people write about their own lives. So even though this looks like it is a graphic novel, it looks like a comic book, these events did happen in this person's life. So I know that this book actually belongs to our nonfiction pile. My next genre is going to be poetry. And so in this poetry pile, I can examine all the books, and I know that it's poetry because any page I open it up, it's not going to be written in paragraphs. Instead, it's written in these short stanzas. As I read some of these poems, I notice that some of them have rhymes, some of them sound sing-songy. So it's a safe bet that it belongs in my poetry genre pile. And my last one, and I think this one's pretty easy to understand, is looks can be deceiving, but any page you open up, you're gonna see that this drama genre book, each has characters that have a part on each line. And so I know that this book is meant to actually be acted out or performed, so it automatically goes into my drama genre pile. So I hope that clears up any misconceptions or ideas that we have about our 4 genres of writing. And next, I'm going to be asking you guys to examine a piece of writing and determine, okay, is this poetry? Is it nonfiction? Is it fiction? Or is it a drama piece? So please let me know if you have questions, and I can't wait to see what you guys come up with.